Hey there, folks. We have returned once again with the Overflow, where we take all the questions that we missed from the podcast this week and answer them all for you. So, as of course, my name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as The Hatman.
And we have to, or rather I have to give an apology, right out of the gate to the Duke of Tumwater, who asks us a ton of good questions every single week. I think that he's probably the best questioner that I've seen in a long time in regards to thought-provoking questions, and that is something that I very much appreciate, in regards to this, because I always believe that part of this whole podcasting thing was basically for us to be able to stretch our brains out, because we weren't really having enough of a chance to do so in our daily lives. So questions like that really keep us going in a lot of ways. So thank you to Duke of Tumwater. He actually had said to us that we're his favorite podcast, and hey, I'm honored that you'd say so, man. Definitely. All right, let's get to it, shall we?
Let's do it.
So, shall we begin with entertainment or politics this week?
Well, we start off. I think we started off with politics last week, so let's change things around. Let's go with entertainment to start with this week.
Sounds like a plan. Well, what we're gonna do, because I missed Duke of Tumwater's questions, we're actually gonna give him priority this week. So,
sounds fair to me.
Let's see here. So first he asked, why don't you like Drax the Destroyer? I think this is meant more towards me.
Yeah, because I'm okay with Drax.
I like movie Drax because he's a lovable idiot. In the comic books, he's never really done it for me, because in first he was just kind of a generic dude in his first, because he has 3 different incarnations. So in his first incarnation, his first life as Drax, he was just kind of a generic, just dude. Showed up along, he was created the same day that, or on the same arc that Thanos was, by Jim Starlin and Iron Man. And then after that, he had a second incarnation, which I call the autistic incarnation, where he is basically a Hulk ripoff with energy blasts. And yeah, I didn't like it. And then
okay, hold on for a second. Why do you call it the autistic incarnation now?
Yeah.
What? Why?
Because he acts like he's autistic.
Oh dear God!
I'm serious. The second form of Drax acts autistic.
Oh my God!
Just and like, not like a savant.
Laser blast, go boom.
What?
That it's like super like developmentally disabled.
Developmentally disabled, yes.
So laser blast, go boom, kill you, lie down now, you're dead.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, he was my least favorite part of Warlock and the Infinity Watch when I first started reading that book. So, yeah. And then who was after that? And then the third one was just edgy Drax. Ooh, I have knives. I'm a badass now. Ooh, it's so lame. It's so lame. So that's why. In the MCU, I like Drax quite a bit because I love Batista, and yeah. But just comic book Drax has never scratched the itch for me. He's just never done it for me at all. But Hat, you're down with Drax?
I mean, I haven't read much of Drax, but I don't have a reason to dislike him either.
Fair enough. All right, Duke of Tumwater wanted to know Wolverine versus Deathstroke, who wins? My bet would be on Logan on that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with you on that one. I think. Yeah.
The reason that I put Captain America above Logan is because of the shield. That's how he's always kicked Wolverine's ass, is because he's got his shield with him. Slade doesn't have anything to deflect adamantium. He'd get carved up. Eventually. It'd be a long freaking fight, but eventually Wolverine takes it.
I think healing factor would play into it a whole lot more than it would with someone like Cap too.
Yeah. All right. And then finally, Duke of Tumwater wanted to also know what metal albums would we recommend for an aspiring metalhead.
Micah, well, I think that one is all you.
Yes, I am Mr. Metal. Let me run through my little player here and see what we can find. Like Twilight of the Thunder God by Amon Amarth is definitely one. Slaughter of the Soul by At the Gates is a necessity. Let's see here. What else we got? Doomsday Machine by Arch Enemy. And I hope you're writing these down because I got plenty for you, Tumwater. Let's see here. Are You Dead Yet by Children of Bodom. Like I said, I'm just going down the line. Danzig and Danzig 2 Lucifuge. The Devin Townsend Project, Addicted and Epic Loud. Devil Driver, I would say The Last Kind Words and The Fury of Our Maker's Hand. Let's see here. For a little bit of hair metal, I'm not a big hair metal fan, but I like Dokken a lot. So I would say Under Lock and Key is probably their best album, and then with their new lineup, I like Lightning Strikes Again a lot. Another band that's not as well known but has a retro style is called Enforcer. Look up the album From Beyond. Let's see. Now, let's go into a little tech death. Falua, or Fallujah, depending on how you pronounce it. Look up the album Dreamless. It is basically prog death metal. It's really neat. Fear Factory, Mechanize would be another one that I would recommend. With Ghost, I would recommend Meliora would be the one that I would say. Then we come to Iron Maiden. What I would just recommend with Iron Maiden to start, because I don't think they're as accessible as Judas Priest is. With Maiden, I would pick up what I already own, which is called From Fear to Eternity. It's basically just a best of. If you like what's in that, you'll like Iron Maiden then. Another one that's lesser known is a band called Insomnium. There's 2 albums you want to get of theirs. They're a melodic death metal band. Shadows of the Dying Sun and Winter's Gate. Winter's Gate is a concept album of about 4 Vikings that travel to a mystical gate that leads them to another world. And then, of course, In Flames. My favorite band of all time. With those guys, you need the Jester Race, Horacle, excuse me, Colony, and then Clayman are their 4 definitive albums. I would also recommend Come Clarity, believe it or not. They switched their style, but it's still good. And then I'm just going to do 3 more bands. I've listed off so many albums just off the top of my head. Dark Tranquility is another really good one. With them, I would recommend, starting from the beginning, Projector, Haven, Damage Done, Character, Fiction, and Construct. All of those albums are top-notch. And then, of course, you have Metallica, just their first 8 albums. I would recommend all of them. Megadeth, you have Rust in Peace. Why is my brain blanking? Peace Sells, But Who's Buying? Countdown to Extinction. Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. And then I would also recommend their newest one, Dystopia. And The World Needs a Hero is a fun one too. Not their best, but it's a fun listen to. And the final band that I'm going to recommend is one that is a little bit more, again, on the prog side, but it's also neat sounding, if nothing else. They're called Scar Symmetry. And the albums that I would recommend would be Symmetric in Design, Pitch Black Progress, and Holographic Universe. And screw it, I'll throw one more in there. Sabaton's The Last Stand as well. So.
Deus Volt.
Deus frickin' Volt on that one.
Did you? Okay, I kind of zoned out for a little bit there. Did you cover System of a Down?
I did not. No.
About to say, why did you mention them?
For System, then I would have to throw in. Well, for them, it's the first album, System of a Down. Toxicity is the must own. Steal This album's all right. I only recommend that one to people who really, really, really like System and have never heard it before. And then Mesmerize. Mesmerize is one of the most fun albums you'll ever listen to.
I still say if you have to pick one, pick Toxicity.
Yeah, it's their best.
I'm not like a huge metalhead, but Toxicity was one of the first songs that I bought on iTunes, and then I got the rest of the album. Actually, I think it was the first song I bought on iTunes, and then I just got the rest of the album, and I loved it. So.
Oh yeah, it's a classic. All right. Hellblazer wanted to know, have you seen the trailer for 7 Days in Entebbe? I have not.
I have not. I have no idea what that is.
Yes. Let me look it up. This is a porno. I'm going to be very angry. Upcoming British crime thriller, directed by Jose Padilla, written by Gregory Burke, recounts the Operation Entebbe, a 76 counter-terrorist hostage rescue operation. Film stars Rosamund Pike and Daniel Bruhl. Sounds interesting. Daniel Bruhl is the guy who played Zemo in Civil War.
You can't call him Baron Zemo, though.
No, maybe they can.
Either
way, he was.
I don't
great.
think so in the MCU, but yeah, he was great, absolutely.
But I'll look it up at some point. Damien X247 wanted to know, does the Solo trailer finally confirm that Han has been wearing Lando's clothes this entire time?
What, so Lando could pay him back in Empire?
I guess.
I don't know. I mean, probably not. I don't even know that they're going to reference anything about wearing each other's clothes in the movie. But then again, they might do it because it seems like they're just going to do a whole bunch of fan service for that film. So
yeah,
what do I know?
I'm with you on that. What missing episode? Oh, Ray Vankman wants to know, what missing episodes, if any, of Doctor Who are you hoping to be rediscovered?
Marco Polo. Just right off the bat, Marco Polo, because everything that it seems like that's at the top of a lot of lists, especially for people who actually got to watch it. They say that's one of the best ones. I'll have to look up the second Doctor episodes. There's a couple of those that I really need. Oh God, there's a Dalek story that's got, I think, 1 or 2 episodes that are missing. That dear Lord. Oh yep. See, now I gotta look at it. Power of the Daleks, of course. Oh, what am I thinking of? The 10th Planet. Duh. We need the 10th Planet. We need the First Doctor's regeneration story. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Evil of the Daleks needs to be. Let's see. Ice Warriors. Yeah, that's basically it. Marco Polo is the big one for me though, especially since there's like no clips of it. Like that is one of the few that has zero surviving clips, and by all accounts, it's a really good story too. So, yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what any of that is.
Yeah, see, I'm the Whovian here, and Micah's just like, okay, I'll talk about metal. You talk about Doctor Who. Why not?
Yeah, it works out that way. And Mr. Monkey wanted to know, do we think if the SJW cancer will now afflict DC with them hiring notorious figures from Marvel? Yes.
Probably.
That's...
Who was it that just got the contract deal?
Max Visagio, I think.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. Well, be prepared.
Yeah. Hey, as long as they don't hire, what's her face? Gabby Rivera, I think they'll be at least in better shape. But
oh my God,
that's the big thing. If they avoid hiring people like Gabby Rivera, or if Ta-Nehisi Coates gets dropped, someone like him.
God, please, no.
If they avoid hires like that, I think they'll be okay. But it's a bad business move to hire somebody who's that unstable.
No. Ta-Nehisi Coates cannot. Oh my God,
he is so boring.
He can't write fiction. He can't. I'm a rant about this.
Go
because so my girlfriend has had to read one of Ta-Nehisi Coates' books for one of her classes, and she has shared passages of it with me, and I've just started like reading what I can of it, and oh my God, it's his writing style is not meant for your average reader. He does not come down to the average reading level. He is writing specifically for people who agree with him, because the terminology that he uses, it almost sounds like a cult. And yeah, it more or less is, because this is just social justice writing, and it's incredible. It's terrible. He would be much better off if he was just writing think pieces the whole time. But no, because he's got to write fiction because people think he's such a wonderful visionary that he gets a free pass for this. But no, he doesn't. He doesn't deserve it. And the fact that freaking Black Panther and the Crew got canceled as early as it did is just a testament to how shit of a fiction writer the man is. He can't do it. He needs to stick to what he is, I guess, good at, which is essentially just think pieces for whatever political outlet that he wants to write for. That at least, he can get by with. But anything else, trying to just tell a story, no, he fails miserably at it. His tone is all kinds of off. He doesn't know who his readers are going to be, and just he's doing so much wrong. I have no idea why he is so celebrated as he is. It makes no sense to me.
Because he's black, y'all. He's black, y'all. He's blackety black, and he's black, y'all.
There are so many other black people. There are so many others that deserve the attention that he's gotten. But no, he gets it.
Basically.
My God. All right, I'm gonna take a little bit of a breather. Go ahead and go to the next question.
All right. Well, I think that's actually it when it comes to entertainment.
Well, I guess that's a good transition into politics.
It is. So let's go ahead and get with what the Duke of Tumwater had in regards to politics. He asked, first and foremost, why are riots or rallies that are built around white racial angst, i.e. Charlottesville, treated with more severity than those built around black racial angst, i.e. Ferguson and Milwaukee? Well, it has a lot to do with progressives.
Yes.
And their beliefs.
Yes. It's largely the same reason why black power is an acceptable thing to say in public, but white power is not.
Yes. Both of them should be worrying.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can call yourself a black nationalist, and nobody will really bat an eye at you, or at least few people will bat an eye at you.
Mm-hmm.
But a white nationalist, and well, everyone knows what the hell a white nationalist is. So of course, people will rightly go, "What the fuck?"
Mm-hmm. Not to mention, and I fault our educational system for this. The ghost of Hitler is much scarier to the United States than the ghost of Stalin.
Yes.
I find that weird.
Yep. I can certainly attest to that. We learned very little about the USSR outside of at least the Cold War, but by then it was not Stalin's Soviet Union anymore, because largely everything that we had covered was after his death. Which is kind of funny because, Khrushchev and Gorbachev were the only names that I specifically remember us talking about, which aren't even, all things considered, that bad. So we got Soviet Russia light. And keep in mind, this is about 10 years-ish ago. So it could have changed between now and then, but at least what I got was certainly a post-Cold War education.
Yeah. So with me, it was the opposite. I actually did learn quite a bit about the USSR in school.
Yeah. Well, you grew up during really the end of the Cold War.
I was born at the end of the Cold War.
Okay. Well, close enough. You were closer to it than I was. So you still got. I remember my dad telling me how, history classes, or at least world history classes, did focus a lot on Soviet Russia way back when, because that was really the height of the Cold War, and you had to be educated on how to hate the Reds.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's just shifting times, really.
Yeah, that's basically the long and short of it. If progressive pressure's a real thing and it sucks, but I think that any sort of potential rioting should have a response to it, not just one group over the others.
Yeah. That, and the fact that the MLK quote that the riot is the voice of the oppressed or something along those lines, or the voice of the unheard. I don't remember exactly the quote, but you get the idea. That gets thrown around a lot when you have largely black riots or incidents like we saw in Ferguson.
Despite the fact that quote is being taken out of context.
Oh well, that's an issue that I've got with people using MLK in general. They usually will pull quotes completely out of context from him to justify whatever they need or whatever points they need to make about race.
Basically,
the man was he was a little more complicated than people like to remember him to be.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Let's see here. Alongside that, Duke of Tumwater had asked, he knows we're not fans of Jared Taylor. What do we think of his idea that having complete freedom of association would solve most of America's racial problems? We already do, dude.
Hold on. We don't have freedom of association?
He is of the thought, if I recall correctly, I can't listen to him for more than 5 minutes, I'm sorry, but because he's so stupid. But this is a guy who claims that there is a civilization gene in white people. I mean, he's ridiculous.
What? Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah. He thinks that any time that black people are left to their own devices, they'll always be criminals.
Oh my god.
It's ridiculous. So.
Oh my god.
He's dumb, but He's dumb and he's a racist and he's a dumb racist. So it is what it is. But
well, you're just reiterating the point there.
yeah, but the point being is he thinks that, if I remember correctly, that the Civil Rights Act does not allow us to have true freedom of association.
How?
I don't know.
That makes no sense.
It doesn't. It's absolutely silly. I guess it's the fact that you can't tell somebody that you don't want to be around them because of their race in a business scenario.
Yeah, I guess if that's his argument, that you can't deny service to people based solely on their race, okay, well,
I've heard radical ANCAPs say the same crap.
That's stupid, though. That's oh my god.
The idea is that you can't refuse service against against somebody that they on something that they have no control over.
Yeah.
And melanin count is one of those things. It's not like life is a created character in a video game. You can't choose your skin color. It's just it happens.
No.
You play the cards you're dealt. And it's if somebody's being rowdy, or if there's like a moral conflict, a legitimate moral conflict, not just I don't like damn color people, but a legit moral conflict, that's a different story.
Obviously the religious one coming into effect there.
Of course, the cake. So yeah.
Although I guess, for people like Jared Taylor, they could just, make up a religion that says they don't have to, give a damn about black people, and then say, okay, well, that's my religious beliefs. At this point, I would not be the least bit surprised if somebody actually tried that.
Maybe that's why Richard Spencer tries to say there's a spirituality to being white.
Dumbasses.
I know, all right? We're going to get a ton of downvotes for that, but
I don't give a fuck.
I don't either. It's the truth. That's like white spirituality. That's idiotic.
That's completely moronic.
If Richard Spencer gave a damn about what was considered to be classically quote unquote white spirituality, he would pick up a Bible.
That'll learn him.
Well, that's been my point to alt-right people for a while now. If you really gave that much of a damn about traditional morals, first off, you wouldn't be alt-right. Second off, you'd be a Christian. Either that or a Jew. So.
Never gets old.
No, it does not. All right. Here's another good one. Why are so many atheists either biological or environmental determinists? They don't believe in free will.
Yeah, I think it lines up nicely with the, I suppose, the stereotype that atheists are, primarily concerned with like evolution and whatnot. Like that's their big shtick.
Yeah, they get their head up Dawkins' ass.
Well, Dawkins or Darwin or whoever. Well, I guess Dawkins specifically, because he's more anti-theist than atheist.
Well,
and that's
Dawkins is their prophet. Blessed be his name.
Yeah. I do like his voice, though. I will give him that. He has a pleasantly soothing voice.
Yes.
But he's just a dick in general. But whatever. No, I think that's really what's got to do with it. But then again, most atheists I know aren't. They just mostly keep it to themselves. So I'm wholly going off of the stereotype here, as I noted earlier.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, most atheists that you'll meet don't care.
Yeah, that's basically, yeah.
Like, people have asked me before, it's like, of all the atheists that I've talked to and of the ones on the internet, it's like, why did I have Sargon on instead of, like, trying to get with TJ Kirk? or somebody like that. And I'm like, well, it's because Sargon respected my beliefs. You know, Mundane Matt's been on the channel, and I thought he did.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he doesn't anymore. But we've already talked about that, so I'm not going to go into it again. But
Yeah.
Regardless, like that kind of plays into it, is that they only think about the science, you know,
Yeah.
and that's basically it. They don't think philosophically. They don't think, and that was the problem with the whole Crown Tea thing.
Mm-hmm.
There is a, you know, it's like one thing that you should always look for whenever you are entering into the debate sphere with a idea is the philosophical weakness and exactly what the statements that they are putting forward means for,
Yep.
you know, and you argue that way. If you try to argue on factoids, there is the possibility you are not going to know what you're talking about. Philosophy, much easier to deal with because you're able to play on their grounds, but you know what they're worst at. So, but regardless, I think that's part of just why they fall into it is because, you know, without the presence of a deity or those who do not believe in natural law, everything is flux. Everything is just constant flux, and you are, however your genes line up. That's Sam Harris's belief.
Yeah.
And obviously, neither of us agree with that. And and more people are coming out that really don't agree with that either, because if there is no if we are all determined, then morality means nothing. Then the justice system shouldn't be about what it is, because the justice system is predicated on the idea that free will does exist. You know, our entire philosophical foundations for the country of the United States are based on John Locke's writings. Well, John Locke, Immanuel Kant, and many of the you know, Enlightenment philosophers, plus of course Judeo-Christian worldviews, or the Judeo-Christian worldview, I should say.
Primarily, yes.
Yes. So that's kind of the mix of the two. And with that in mind, if we are totally determined, which there's no direct evidence of, that's another thing I need to mention. There's no direct evidence that we aren't either, but you know, there's so it's really, again, it's a faith question, really, as much as Sam Harris wouldn't want to admit that. But I think the argument is better that we have free will. But regardless, if we are totally determined, then we wouldn't know. We would have no concept of knowing what truth is. We could never make a truth claim, because our ability to perceive would be based on our genes. You know, and instead of, well, let me put it this way: what it would lead to is a society that is no different than Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. That is a world that is based on genetic determinism. You are bred for specific purposes, and they are selective in your breeding, they are selective in how you are raised, and it would be a mortifying future, and that's part of the reason why I will never believe it.
And if you have the bad genes, then you go live on the reservation with the other savages.
Yep, and it's orgy-porgy all the time, and yes, I've been reading more of that book.
Good. So I was about to ask you.
Along with the 12 others that I'm reading at the same time. I'm definitely getting ready for school again, you can tell. That's how I got through college, is I read so many books simultaneously. Because right now...
Not a bad idea.
Right now I'm working on Fear and Trembling. I'm working on Common Man in Search of His Soul by Carl Jung. I'm working on Black Rednecks, White Liberals by Thomas Sowell. I'm working on The Two Treatises of Government by John Locke. You know, it goes on. After that, I want to start getting into G.K. Chesterton and things along those lines. So, yeah. But anyway, hopefully that answers that question. Let's see. I think that's it from the Duke of Tonguewater. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff this week.
Oh, yes.
So, Genesis 616 wanted to know our thoughts on Hunter Avallone.
I do not know who that is.
I don't either. One thing you're going to have to know about me, at least, I don't watch that much YouTube, or at least not politics stuff. I read political stuff.
Yeah, that's about how I am too. I'm more active on Twitter than I am on YouTube anyway. So if you ask me about someone that I'll recognize off Twitter, yeah, okay, I can spout off what I know about them. But YouTube, not so much. Even though I know there's a lot of crossover nowadays. Still, like if I don't know them by YouTube, it's likely that I won't know them by Twitter and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
It's one or the other with me a lot of the time. But sorry, just don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah. What do we think about the Falcon Heavy launch? And when do we think that Elon Musk will claim the title of God Emperor of Mars?
Oh Lord.
I thought it was look, if Elon Musk can make, or Elon or whatever, can make space travel profitable, just tell me when he finds the Venom symbiote so I can become Venom.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh God, you better hope there's no man wolf along the way either.
Yeah, fair point.
But
anyway,
yeah,
in all seriousness, I mean, if he can make it profitable, I mean, go for it.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with it. It's kind of interesting to think that there can be a profit in space exploration, because a lot of this is going to basically be a new frontier for us, to borrow a classic quote.
Oh, of course.
And it's interesting to think about how that would change our perception of space exploration and whatnot, because before it was largely cooperative and somewhat international effort, but now the idea that it can be a capitalistic endeavor is kind of it's a little different, and you got to change your way of thinking, I suppose. But I mean, I'm not opposed to it. Why not?
The downside is we could find the warp.
The upside is...
Then we have to deal with chaos and heresy, and I'd have to become a legit member of the Adeptus Astartes, and wait, that doesn't sound like a bad idea at all.
Well, I was going to say the upside is I get to go to the moon. I mean, screw all your power fantasies. I just want to go to the moon.
Would you leave your hat on the moon?
No, I would have to leave my hat on Mars, because Gamergate was supposed to colonize Mars.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Let's see here. Ryan Potter asked, were the deleted FBI texts from the two FBI officers we were talking about just their sexting between one another?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I don't know. I thought sexting was a tool of the patriarchy. I didn't think Democrats were fans of that.
Oh, well, I mean, Anthony Weiner. But...
Well, how about could there be a more ironic name?
Not really, no.
I just...
That was...
Wow.
That... Just... I remember the headlines from that whole saga, and I think the best headline was "Wiener's out."
Wiener's out for Wiener. Oh God.
But yeah, that was, oh my God. No, I think they had to learn the hard way, so it's suddenly they're missing, because lots and lots of sexy FBI talk.
Yeesh.
Not for me.
And the next question is from Shurigal. Feminist Doritos. Your thoughts?
They were not a thing. They were never going to be a thing. They were an idea that was proposed by the CEO of PepsiCo, who is a woman, by the way, an Indian woman, nonetheless.
Dot or feather?
Dot.
Okay.
Like, not... Micah, the CEO is not Elizabeth Warren.
Damn it, not again.
Oh, God. What have I done?
St. Dagus last week. Fucker.
Look, you brought this on yourself, okay? You asked. God. All right, let's just wait, everybody. Wait for it to be over.
Shut up.
If y'all want to, take a snack break or something, it's okay.
Okay. I think I'm alright.
Better?
Yes.
All right. But no, that was just an idea that was proposed because she said, men and women, based on their research, would eat Doritos differently. This is like market research. And people lost their collective shit over the idea of a female Dorito because they're like, oh, why do you need to gender Doritos? And literally the idea was that it's trying to make a Dorito that has less of an audible crunch because apparently based on their research, women are a lot more uncomfortable with the idea of eating chips in public if they have too loud of a crunch behind them. I don't know, but if that's the kind of data they got, then I can't really say much about it. But it's a whole lot of bullshit and outrage over nothing. But then again, can I really expect anything else?
I don't know.
It's nonsense. People will get pissed off at anything female nowadays. Even if you say females, then they'll. But what about females that aren't female?
There are
unnecessarily gendering gender, huh?
I got you now, you Sith Lord scum.
Yeah.
All right. Final question. How do we think the Obama presidency will be remembered in 20 years?
Oh, great question.
When I am 52 and you are 40-something.
46.
46.
That's a great question. I think it depends on the culture of America 2 decades from now. If we have moved towards a more generally progressive culture, I think it's going to be looked upon favorably. If we become either more conservative or somewhere in the middle, I think it's going to be looked at very similarly to the Bush presidency. Not exactly I think it'd be looked at more favorably than Bush, but I think the consensus would be that Obama was largely responsible for expanding or continuing a lot of the programs that were started under George W. Bush when he campaigned quite the opposite and, came off to the public as someone who would do quite the opposite. And I think the whole most transparent administration in history comment will come back to bite him in the historical ass.
I definitely agree with that. I think that the real, what's really going to define it is how this FBI question goes, or thing goes.
That's true too. True too.
If, like I said, I think somebody's going to get arrested, and I mean, if at the craziest, it would probably be Obama himself. So
I still don't think that's gonna happen. But
well, fingers crossed. But
no.
for me anyway, I think he's incredibly corrupt. If he went to jail, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Absolutely, I would say he is. But it's you bring up an interesting point there too. Yeah, I think if something were discovered about that, then that would essentially tarnish his legacy. Because think of how we look back at Richard Nixon.
Mm-hmm.
He was not nearly as bad as everyone gives him credit for.
No, not
at
all.
But because of Watergate, that's what tainted his legacy.
Exactly.
Like he had a very complex administration, so you can't immediately answer whether it was good or bad, or even like in the middle.
Yeah.
But lots of people just write him off because Watergate,
Basically.
Which is ridiculous.
But yeah, if that's why I'm so interested in that case, though, is because again, if somebody gets arrested, his legacy is that's going to be what it is, And let me put it this way: I think we can close on this. I do not want the first black president to be a failure.
No, absolutely
but he
not.
was, and I can't change that. He had bad ideas. He was a black man with bad ideas. But the black part doesn't matter. It's the bad ideas part that matters.
No. But it's unfortunate.
I don't like
because
Thomas Sowell because he's black. I like Thomas Sowell because he's got great ideas.
And it's unfortunate because people are going to judge black presidents or black people that run for president based on him. He's unfortunately going to end up representative of black Americans that seek the office of president.
Absolutely.
Damn shame.
Incredibly. Well, folks, we appreciate you tuning in to this episode of The Overflow. If you have not subscribed to the Micah and The Hatman channel yet, you've come here from Twitter, you've come here from anywhere else, please go ahead and do so. There's regular content that's coming up. I do a weekly vlog every week. Plus, I'm starting to do different types of stuff as well. Hatman's got stuff in the pipeline as well. He just needs to work on it. So...
It'll be worth the wait, I promise you.
Oh, I'll take your word for it. No, in all seriousness, though, it probably will be. So, folks, we appreciate you watching. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as the Hatman.
And we'll see you guys next week. Deus Volt.
Deus Volt.